right before Raw had went off the air, a nude photograph of NXT developmental diva Zahara Scriber, hope I'm pronouncing that last name right, was posted throughout Seth Rollins' social media accounts. And man, was sister banging. I know we got ladies that listen to our show. Out of respect to you all, I'm gonna try to keep it, nice and friendly without sounding like ignorant freak. I'm not trying to sound like Luke over here. You guys know Luke or Sir Mix-a-Lot. There you go. Y'all probably definitely know Sir Mix-a-Lot. So I'm gonna try to keep it friendly for you ladies out there. But the pic of this diva, I mean, nice shape. I mean, she's got a very nice shape. I dig blondes. I dig brunettes. I love redheads. I think that pretty much just sums up every single hair color that's out there. Just about. Yeah, I probably missed a few, but my favorites: brunettes, blondes. I love them. I love them. I can't help myself. I love to flirt, but that's as far as it goes. Because at the end of the day, I'm taken. I'm off the market. All right. But nice photo of her. Now, if as a result of this photograph of Zahara being linked to Seth Rollins' social media accounts, it was also tied to his WWE profile. So at one point, his WWE profile actually had the picture of this chick. And as you would imagine, when WWE had found out, I mean, they shut it down. I mean, last I heard, his profile page was still down. So you're kind of like, when you hear that, you're like, whoa, what's going on? As a matter of fact, as we're live on the air right now, I'll actually go on the website just to see if we can pull up his profile here. Let's see what happens here. I'm at the WWE website right now. And I got a pretty fast page, so alright, so we're already there. Let's see, we probably need to go backwards since he's in the S, because it starts us off with Brock Lesnar. So let's go backwards here. We already went past Triple H. Seth Rollins, there we go. Click on Seth Rollins, and okay, well that's good. We got his little profile page and all that. Everything seems to be back up. We got his bio. That's good. But it doesn't look like his social media activity is there. I wonder what happens when we go back. Because I remember at some point, the WWE stars, when you tried to access their profile or / bio page on the WWE website, you got to see like their Twitter feed or whatever. But it looks like, yeah, you see the chatter. Yeah, it looks like Seth Rollins stuff is still down as it stands right now. So to continue on with our story, the photos, of course, has been removed since then. But Seth Rollins' fiance, Layla Schultz, she apparently had responded to the photo of that diva Zahara on her Twitter account, which has since been deactivated. She wrote, Zahara? Like, what the hell are you doing on my man's page or whatever? She came back posting a pair of nude photos of Seth Rollins. Now, as you would imagine, those photos have since been removed. The photos in great detail. Again, we have ladies listening, so I'm trying to be respectful here. All right, I know usually I like to have a potty mouth and all that. I'm trying to be a little more friendlier on this episode at least. But the photos in question, in one image, you see Seth Rollins. He's laying on the bed. He's naked. And he's kind of like almost on his side. And he's holding on to his manhood. He's holding on to the shaft. He's holding on to the Woody Woodpecker. You know, he's holding on to the woodpecker. And you're like, whoa, all right. That's an eyeful. And then there's another image where he's standing up. Clear as day, mind you. His face is in both of these pictures. Like, he just doesn't give a crap. All right? another picture, he's standing up and he is standing strong with his member and he is saluting like Captain America. Thumbs up, soldier! I mean, it's just really all out there, alright? So, you see these pictures, and a lot of people, they were in denial. I mean, yes, you actually had people that were in denial. That's not Seth Rollins. No, he couldn't do that. That's not him. Somebody photoshopped that. What's going on? No, that's not him. And you had one person, a fan, actually write to Schultz, basically saying that, they didn't send out those tweets because she's never on Twitter, at which Layla replied, I definitely did. Ha ha ha. Nothing says fury like a woman scorned. Alright, you've heard that saying before, and there it is, as plain as day. Meanwhile, Seth Rollins, he's scheduled to appear at the Carl Casper's Customs Auto Show in Louisville, Kentucky on Friday, February 20th. He's also scheduled to make an appearance at the Milwaukee World of Wheels in Milwaukee, Wisconsin on Saturday. I'm curious if our colleagues over at Pro Wrestling Report are possibly going to try to see about getting a interview with him. I know for sure he's not going to be able to talk about the photographs and all that, as you would imagine there's probably a gag order for Seth to not talk about the leaked photos. Also for WWE superstars and divas to not talk about it. But you talk about bad timing right now of this stuff going down. Now reports are coming out, for starters, from other women, and this cannot be confirmed right now, so take what you're hearing with a grain of salt. But there's other women that have stepped forward and they've claimed that they've been in some type of a online relationship with Seth Rollins. Some are claiming that they've been in a relationship with him and they got screwed over. Some are saying they didn't even know that he had a woman and all this other stuff. One that's really popular right now, there's this girl, I think, who lives out in Seattle, who apparently had like some type of a online relationship with Rollins, as the conduit of their relationship came together through something called Snapchat. I'm not really familiar with that. If it's not eHarmony, I don't know anything about that. As that's where I met my soon-to-be wife. I met her through eHarmony. Knock on wood, as we've been together. I'm bad with numbers right now, so forgive me. But hopefully she's not hearing this. But you hear that and you're like, wow, what the hell is going on with Seth Rollins? Now, as Titus Machiavelli had revealed on Monday's the RCWR show, based on the people that he knows and that he's worked with, that have worked with Seth Rollins, who on the free agent market before coming to WWE was known as Tyler Black. He has a notorious reputation for being a ladies' man, being a player, if you will. So, keeping all that in mind, we have this new information that's coming about that says that Seth Rollins apparently was in this relationship with Leah for a good number of years now. As reports are saying that there are now phone message exchanges that have been released, which is basically showing Seth Rollins in his exchange with, I believe, this this developmental diva, about how he loves her so much, he wants to be done with his current girlfriend or whatever. He doesn't love her, all this other stuff. So call it for what it's worth, okay? You're having relationship problems. You no longer feel like you need to be with this person who at one point you may have said, hey, I want to marry this person. Priorities change, life changes, it gets the best of us. I get that. But I'm saying you can't find it in your heart to have a sit down with this person and say, hey, look, I think we'd be better off as friends. I think we need to see other people. You can't at least do that? Okay, maybe you don't want the confrontation. You don't want the whole face-to-face. You want to dodge that. I can respect that. Hell, maybe you could send a Dear John letter. I mean, there's no worse feeling in the world than getting a Dear John letter. Been there, done that personally. Alright? No worser feeling in the world than to read a freaking text message from your ex saying, it's over. That's the worst feeling in the world. But at least you move on with your life, But for it to come down the way that it's come down, it's just so freaking tacky. And I don't know if maybe you could pin all this on me and the curse of Sanders. I don't know. Maybe it was me, because ever since I said, man, that's Seth Rollins, he's one hell of a talker, his promos started to get crappy. Now look, I mean, the in-ring ability's been there. He's been on point past several weeks, but I think the curse of Sanders has struck again, and it struck in a huge way. I will say this for Seth Rollins. I will defend him a little bit, alright? Because I don't want it to seem like I'm bashing Seth Rollins, although I will say this, and I think we all could be in agreement on this. No way in hell, when you get the keys to the kingdom and being on the main roster in WWE, you get to be on main WWE programming. Your face gets to be seen weekly around the world in so many countries. I'm sorry, but there's no way in hell you're going to be getting a picture of me. There's no way in hell are you going to be able to get me in a position where you take a couple of pictures of me holding my equipment and I'm nude. There's no way you're going to get selfies of me. It's just not happening. The way I was brought up, and I'm a young man. I'm still in my 30s, all right? I'm about to hit the cornerstone 3-5 later this year, all right? So as you would imagine, I'm going to be feeling very crappy when I turn 3-5, because it's going to be like, oh, damn, I'm 5 away from 40. What the hell, But I'm still a young man, right? But the way I was brought up with moral values. I was brought up with self-respect, with self-love, and that extends to the point of love your body. Your body isn't some vessel where you just whore it out to whoever. You don't just, oh, you like me, I like you, hey, look, show me your boobs, I'll show you my, that's not how I was brought up. And stuff like that should just be between a man and a woman, or if your sexual preference is you like the same sex, so be it. But stuff like that should not be shared throughout social media between devices. You shouldn't have it saved on your hard drive or in the iCloud and all that other weird crap. Those type of things should not exist for the sole purpose of it could maybe come back to bite you in the ass one day. And this is a prime example of why you should not take these types of pictures. I mean, this is a serious epidemic that we're having in today's society. Because when you really think about this, look, watch the news if you don't believe me. There are so many stories that's coming about on a weekly basis of some teenage girl that got coerced into showing intimate pictures of herself to her boyfriend, and the boyfriend is kicking back with a bunch of his boys. Look at her boobies. What a slut. Yeah, good job, Mikey. Yeah, high five. And next thing you know, the pictures are posted all around the locker room at school, and everybody's pointing. And you talk about a way for a kid to not only feel embarrassed but contemplate suicide. You know what I'm saying? So many young teens are under a lot of pressure these days, and it all falls back, unfortunately, to the parents and what the parents has that child watching and what exactly they're teaching them. That moral code that I was talking about earlier. And, this is a case right here where you can't say, oh, well, Lee, cut Seth Rollins some slack. Maybe he's a little bit illiterate when it comes to tech. No. He's a young man. He's not even 30 yet, if I'm not mistaken, but he will be 30 this year. So he's very savvy when it comes to the gadgets and, all that other stuff. There's just no excuse for what came about. At the same time, he's still a young man, but the room for trial and error, that window is growing more smaller and smaller by the days, because it's not like, oh, well, he's only 21, cut him some slack. You know what I'm saying? Now, look, as far as ramifications go, I think, honestly, nothing's going to happen to Seth Rollins. Could his position in the company, yeah, that could be at stake. It's possible that things may go a little bit ice cold for him for a little while. Is it possible that he might lose his money in the bank briefcase spot? It's possible. Could he maybe cash in and it is a failed attempt? That's possible. Yeah, anything can happen. But as far as like people thinking, oh, is he going to be fired? Is he going to be suspended? No. Instead, what I think is going to happen is the young girl that, what's her name? Zahara. I think not promptly, but very soon she's going to be let go. WWE is probably going to time it just right, though, because if they were to release her right now, that would just look really bad, and she would definitely have a crutch to stand on as far as a lawsuit goes with WWE. So I don't see WWE promptly removing her. However, at the same time, give it about 90 days at most, maybe a little less than that, anywhere between 45 to 90 days. I could see them releasing her. And they'll probably go with some BS line like, oh, you're not developing quick enough to our standards, you're not getting the system down. They'll probably hit her up with some type of BS crap like that, and then she may have her 15 minutes of fame on podcasts. Unfortunately, no shoot interviews, but definitely on the podcast, she'll have her 15 minutes of fame and all that, where she'll tell her side of the story and all that. But I don't see anything happening to Seth Rollins. And then the stuff that's going on with him and his fiance, or at this point they might not be together anymore. If she does take him back, that's on her. That is on her. But I really wish our society would get past this whole nudie pic thing and all that. I just think it's freaking silly. I mean, look, I get out the shower, I look at my equipment when I get out, and I say, damn, that's a good piece of meat I got right there. But I don't freaking go, let me take a picture of it and, oh, that's good, I'm going to save this on my phone, or I'm going to save this on my hard drive. I don't do that. But WWE is going to have to respond. They're going to have to make some type of a public example in some shape or form. Seth Rollins may be suspended for a couple of days, a couple of weeks, but he could be back in time for WrestleMania. It's possible that while he's suspended, just so it looks like WWE did try to do something, because the way it's looking right now, Seth Rollins is a player's player. But I think they're going to have to do something, unfortunately, because you think about that Stone Cold podcast interview with Triple H, you think about what he had said and everything, and see, something that probably a lot of other shows aren't really talking about, and I'm glad that we're spending a few minutes on this, because, look, you think about Edge and Matt Hardy from 2005 surrounding Amy Dumas, aka Lita. And if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, go check out Rivalries or the WWE Network, okay? If you ever thought about getting the WWE Network, now's the time. If you're in North America and you've never signed up for the WWE Network before, you can get it for free all month long. Help us out, as if you sign up for it by getting it through our through our website at InfinityWarProductions.com. WWE actually kicks in a little bit of gratuity to us at no additional cost to you. Great way to represent and show your support for our show and all that. If you have the WWE Network, that's great. You can still go to our website and check out the other sponsors. Maybe you might find something of interest to you. Again, at no additional cost to you. When you make your transactions and all that through those respected sponsors, you're good to go. But those of you that don't know what I'm talking about with regards to Edge, Matt Hardy, go look that up, all right? If you want to read about it, just type in Edge, Matt Hardy, Lita 2005. Have fun. You also think about Mickie James, John Cena. Back when John Cena was married still, it was said that he was romantically involved with Mickie James, Lisa Marie Varoon, aka Tara, aka Victoria, although that never has been officially confirmed. Lisa Marie Varoon did say in interviews over the years that at one point during that time period, herself and her husband were going through marital issues. They stopped talking to one another for a short period of time. They actually were seeing other people, but they had worked things out and all that. But the thing with John Cena, Mickie James, this was actually confirmed by Kenny Donnie, formerly Kenny Dystra, from Kitty, the Spirit Squad. You guys remember that? And he was dishing out dirt on social media and interviews talking about John Cena's and Mickie James' relationship years ago, as at one point he was engaged to Mickie and said that he discovered that she'd been cheating on him with Cena when he oversaw her online searching rumors concerning her act of infidelity. When he confronted Mickie James, she then confessed that she was unfaithful to him. And, as you would imagine, Cena's relationship with James, it basically had resulted in Kenny being transferred from the Raw brand to the SmackDown brand. But even at that, when it was kind of looking as though maybe he was going to be a breakout star on the Blue brand, ultimately he was terminated from WWE. I think that was like around late 2007 or 2008. And he basically said, hey, because of what was going on with Mickie James' WWE success by her association with Cena, that's why things ended up the way that they did. And meanwhile, Kenny was shown the door and all that. He actually said he's got nothing personal against Cena, thinks he's a stand-up guy and everything like that. He just wouldn't trust him around his date, as who wouldn't. But then, if you guys recall, something had came about where eventually Mickie James was forced to move from the Raw brand to the SmackDown brand, and that had set up the domino effect where on the SmackDown brand she was constantly being ridiculed because she had picked up a little bit of weight. She was a little bit thicker. She wasn't fat by any means. She was just thick. She was nice and filled out. I know you guys remember that. They were calling her Piggy James around that time. And around this time, this is when Cena and his high school sweetheart, who he married, Liz Hubadura, I believe that's the name, they were kind of getting into a little bit of a conflict or whatever like that. So you see the history that's been going on with WWE superstars and divas fraternizing together. You go a little bit further than that. You think about Randy Orton. Now, it never was really put out there that Randy Orton was being unfaithful to his wife Samantha, but you can't really help but wonder the circumstances surrounding the divorce, as the wife was the one that had submitted the divorce paperwork. She basically had said part of the reason for their marriage being over is that it was irrevocably broken. That's a tongue twister word right there. I'm sure there was probably some other stuff that was of issue. You can't help but wonder if infidelity is one of those issues. And if you guys have forgot, part of the settlement, Samantha got to keep a bank account almost close to 700 grand that was in her account. She got to keep one house. She got to keep her jewelry collection. She got to keep a $100,000 engagement ring and wedding ring. She also had got sole legal and physical custody of their daughter, which, by the way, Orton does get visitation rights. And on top of all that, Orton agreed to pay almost $5,000 per month in child support. So he needs that WWE money, let me tell you. But then the biggest sin of all sins, the circumstances surrounding Triple H and Stephanie McMahon getting together, as it was so eloquently put together by the lovely Chyna. Nice how I'm just stringing all this along. I'm going to talk a little bit more about the Chyna thing in just a little bit, but let's put the bookend on this whole Seth Rollins thing. All these examples that I had just named to you guys, even the rumors that were going around about Hulk Hogan, Macho Man, Miss Elizabeth, all this stuff, WWE unfortunately is going to have to make some type of an example. I mean, look at what they did with Kevin Nash. They fired his ass, they suspended their WWE Legends deal contract with him and all that because of the whole legal dispute that was going on, his legal problems with his kid and all that, getting physical with him. They didn't want to have anything to do with that. They tried to distance themselves from that. Then you think about what had came about with what was that girl, Emma, when it was revealed that she stole a iPod case. They fired her, and then they realized they were a little bit harsh. They hired her back, but her career really hasn't been the same since. I mean, WWE has really tried to step up and look good in the press, like they know how to take care of their business and all this other good stuff. They're going to have to make some type of an example, especially considering the stuff that they were saying, or at least Triple H was saying about Chyna a couple of weeks ago. So more on this as it develops.